Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm so glad you're with us this morning. Got a big show lined up, but first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. Got up to 83 degrees, but it's plunging tonight to 68 degrees. It's going to be a cold snap coming through, so be aware of that. Get out your winter clothes, but it's not going to be cold very long, but it's going to be a little bit cooler than normal. Water temperature stayed right like it was yesterday, 83 degrees. Water temperature looking really good. River readings brought to us by Sandhill Seafood up on Highway 77 right north of Bozeman School. The Apalachicola Bluntstown is 6.1. It's got a little bit of bump in it this morning, but it's not doing much. I talked to some Howard Creek folks, and they're still not catching a lot of fish down there. I talked to some folks who were at the brim tournament, and I think they had 23 teams that entered that brim tournament last Saturday, and they were only 6 pounds won, and actually 4 or 5 boats did not weigh in the end. So that tells you something when those Howard Creek folks don't weigh some fish in at a brim tournament. So it's been a little bit slow on the brim fishing down there. And so that sort of reflects the whole river system. Now take a look at the Choctawhatchee, at Caryville. We anticipated the bump from yesterday is going to really sort of shoot on up tomorrow with all the rain we've had. So they've had a lot of rain over west of us. So right now it's reading a 7.3. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Looking at a high tide this morning at 8:16. It's working its way out all day long and be low at 6:44. So if you're one of those persons that like to fish a falling tide, today's your day. It's going to be falling out pretty strong. Marine forecast, it's going to be northwest at 5 to 10. That's just our little bit of cool air coming in from northwest. All right, take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I know a lot of people, I was talking to Jeff, a lot of folks have eaten red snapper the last couple of days, been fried and grilled in all kinds of ways. Been a lot of red snapper been devoured by the folks here in the Florida Panhandle. It was all good. I know we had our Sunday and Jeff had his last night. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on. We got some more pictures. Let's check them out. First of all, I got a little announcement here. This is from FWC and summertime kids doing stuff. But listen, FWC has some like a little camps that like free courses for grades K through 5, information on firearm safety, outdoor ethics, and conservation. So go to their website. There's 3 different courses on real little kids. I think a lot of like coloring books and things like that, but really interesting. All right, coming here from Carabel, Captain Ken at Sea Quarters. He's talking about Captain Scott and Chuck had a great day Saturday, and they had plenty of bait. Look at that. Look at there now. There's no shortage of grouper down there. Grouper and scamp and some nice red snapper. That's a good trip out of Carabel at Sea Quarters Marina. Good folks down there. Now, this is Michael McLean. He's a young man who custom made my fishing rod for me, and he just has this passion for fishing. He was offshore. He stayed offshore from Thursday night till Friday night, and he was just fishing for tuna, and he caught it. He said right here on his YouTube, it's such a shame. He said he watched the show when it came in on YouTube. Such a shame that it disappeared like that. But he caught this 24-pound blackfin tuna while he was offshore, had fun time, and it was the only tuna weighed in at 20th Annual San Andreas Bay Yacht Club Fishing Tournament. So good job, Michael McLean, on that nice blackfin tuna. Moving on here, good morning, Coach. This is from Ernie Regatio. I sorry to hear some bonehead ripped off your custom rod and tackle. I will be on the lookout for it. By the way, thanks for pulling my name for $20 on Delicious Tarpon Dog. This is his son. Okay, look at that red snapper, okay? My son Jaren's 10-pound snapper and a 36-pound wahoo he caught last week. Good job. That's a pretty wahoo there. From Carl Andrews, I'm going to read your names and I'll blow up the picture. This is, okay, right here from left to right now. This is a family fishing trip. J.C. Andrews on the left, Carl Andrews, John Carl, and grandson, John Carl Tigman, Wesley Tilgman, Nancy Andrews, Tilgman, and Brad. And we all had, okay, that's a whole family. That's Carl and his son, and daughter, and grandsons, and son-in-law on a good trip right there. Thanks for sharing that. One of the viewers sent me, Officer Bassford, always talking about people all these officers arresting people. He doesn't take much credit, but we have one right here. I'm going to just sort of read what in the middle. Officer Bassford was on patrol near the Warren Bayou, that's the steam plant canal, when he saw two ATVs being operated at a high rate of speed on a paved county road. The operators each had fishing gear, were heading toward the steam plant canal. One of the ATVs drove around a locked gate to access the St. Joe Company property. Two individuals were contacted while they were fishing in the steam plant canal, which is a Gulf Power, they own that property now, and both individuals were in possession of undersized red drum and were issued citations for having an ATV on a public road, possession of undersized red drum, and trespassing. 3 charges right there. Summertime here, and these ATVs, they're a lot of fun and they're a good activity, but in summertime, their folks get on them, they sort of get out of control with them. And you really see this, they do exactly what you saw right there. They just don't have these young people that they're out for the summer. A lot of times their parents at work don't know they're doing this, and they're just hauling behind all over the place on these things, going real fast. I see it in our neighborhood on some of the woods, and it's amazing we don't have more accidents than we do. So if you have any nieces or nephews, grandkids, children with ATVs, make sure in the summertime that you really talk to them about safety. And of course they already know about trespassing and all, but anyway, they really, as a teenager, I used to tell my class, and I laughed almost looking back on it, because it's so true. I said, really, you 18-year-olds, your brain cells haven't just quietly made contact yet in some of the thinking you do. Some of y'all are doing this, and we talk about it all year. And that's the case where a lot of things happen like that. They just not thinking, okay? A couple more pictures real. This is our trip, Saturday on a Seminole wind. I'll have that video for you next week. Right there, a good trip, fun trip, some really nice quality fish caught. The sun was sort of behind us. The picture didn't turn out all that well, but the fish did. These are 2 that I took home. I caught that one on my right, and a lot of us caught the one on my left, but that's what fed us. And I cleaned my own fish this year. There's just too many people out there to go through the line. There's just too many people, okay? I posted on Facebook, and I had some people post back. Evan Zackrell, that's a nice red snapper he caught. Okay, good job, Evan. Greg Frady on some red snapper, he and his fishing crew. Some really good fishing right here. Okay, and then the last picture here, let's talk about trout fishing. Hey, Winston, Ted Gagnay here. Winston caught this 26-inch trout Monday on a Rapala. I released her. Here's a better picture of it right here. 26 inches of big trout. And, and the thing about catching and a big trout like that, and Ted did this, if you catch a big fish in the summertime, a lot of times in spawning and all, you want to, and I do the same thing, release those fish. They're not all that good to eat. Those trout start getting worms in them in the summertime and all. And now you can catch a bunch of little ones, you can eat them, but those big ones, take a picture just like that, measure it, hold it up, take a picture, and release it. And it's not that big of a deal. Now, when I was younger, you couldn't convince me of that. If my dad's generation, you couldn't ever convince any of them of that because they didn't eat everything they caught. But right now, we've got a lot of people fishing, and those big female trout and all, they're important to the livelihood of the species. So it's a good job on taking a picture and releasing that. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Don't forget, if you're going to BJ's Marine, one of our really good sponsors since day one, they've been with us. If you want to go in now, they got it blocked off if you're coming in from 15th Street. You got to go 11th Street on down, keep on going east past Rutherford High School, and then take a left down there on Transmitter, and they're right there, but you have to come in on the back side, on the south side of there until they finish that road construction. So they're still working hard. They still got boats lined up, and they've been in business since 1992, and you don't stay in business that long in marine repair industry unless you're doing something right. They really do a good job. They worked on my boats for a long time, and believe me, I've needed some work done at times. All right, let's move on. I want to mention, we're talking about grouper. I tell you, we didn't catch many grouper Saturday, and I talked to Billy about it, and we all are concerned about the grouper population. I want to show you this picture right here. It's in my book, okay? See that picture? That's a grouper right there, okay? Now I want to read you this little heading on it, okay? This was catch a large fish in St. Andrew Bay. They caught these grouper in St. Andrew Bay. This was in the 1960s. That's Don Morrell and some of the deckhands that were caught in the bay, okay? Now, I'm going to show you a picture. Ironically, if you're on Facebook, you know how your memories pop up. From 1 year ago, this was your picture. And really good, especially sometimes they 3 years ago, this picture was on your page. And really neat when you have the kids or grandkids and see how much they've grown and how things have changed. So I get those. I enjoy seeing them. And this was my memory from a year ago. This was like yesterday. This is our fishing trip. Okay, let's see if it'll show up. Your memories on Facebook. Okay, so this was our trip 1 year ago. Now, what I want you to look at, it's the same crew. In fact, I got on the same shirt. I need to wash it, don't I? Okay. Okay, look at the red snapper. We got some scamp and grouper, but I want you to count. If you're on the bottom, there's 8 grouper, and then there's 1 hanging. That's 9. And we, of course, limited out on red snappers. That was 1 year ago. Okay, now I'm gonna flip over to this year's trip. Now, okay, there's 3. Okay, there's actually 2 grouper, 1 grouper hanging on each end. That's 2 grouper, and there's a wahoo in the middle right there. There's my shirt right there. So, but anyway, I really think, and Bill and I talked about it too. There really is like a shortage on and you know, he takes out these Gulf, out in the Gulf of Mexico, these closed areas, takes the marine research scientists, and they actually do a lot of stuff out there too, and they're talking about the same thing. Okay, now I want to. I got a call from Amanda Whitehead Monday. They've had a situation over in Liberty County. They lost one of their young 3-year-old twins, and the little boy passed away the other day, and he was unresponsive, and his name was Noah. And the folks need some help on the funeral expenses, and both the kids went to hospital school. Okay, here's a little boy here on the left. I think he had a congenital heart defect, and it's just heartbreaking to lose a little child like that. So here's some of the things they're doing to raise money for them. They're having a benefit, a cookout at the hospital fire department on June the 9th at 11 a.m. All proceeds go to funeral expenses. Now, if I was over there, I'd be getting me a couple plates of that. That's chicken perlo. All right. Also, now this is a couple of weeks from now, June the 23rd and 24th. They're having a catfish tournament. Okay, there'll be more information on it. It's going to be at the Bristol Boat Ramp on June 23rd and 24th. And all that money is going to funeral expenses. That's 2 things. Also, they have a GoFundMe account. And I looked at it last night. They need $5,500 to bury the little kid, and they've already got $3,300. So that's really good. So a GoFundMe account for Noah's funeral. All right, so that is really good. And let's see, it goes on to tell about it. So, all right, so that's some really good stuff right there. Okay. Now, I wanted to, got a couple of other pictures too. One of the things, speaking of fishing and all, so if you help out on that, we always try to help people and all. I was talking to Marvin McCain, who was my first principal at Mosley High School a long time ago. Marvin lives on Beatty Bayou, and here's a picture right here. Marvin lives on Beatty Bayou, and here, I'm gonna show you where that is. This is Lynn Haven, okay, going across the Lynn Haven Bridge going north into Southport. Okay, go to the right, or you're going east. There's a Deer Point Dam up in the right-hand corner, so that's North Bay. Okay, and here's Beatty Bayou, and there's a country club right there, see the golf course and the greens and all. Well, Beatty Bayou, and Marvin lives right there off that point in the center of the screen. Okay, and I live right across the water from him, so a lot of times over the years, I've lived there a long time. Beatty Bayou has always been really good fishing. And I saw Marvin at Sandy Harrison's retirement Monday afternoon. Congratulations, Mosley principal Sandy Harrison, on retiring as principal. And got you and Gary, I know, are going to have a great time. Gary watches the show every morning, so appreciate it, Gary. You have to get Sandy up early enough to watch Panhandle Outdoors. But getting back to the point, I asked, Marvin came to me. Marvin in his 90s now. He said, Winston, he said, have you been fishing over at Beatty Bayou lately? I said, honestly, I haven't. He said, I said, how's it going over there? Because I know he fishes. He's one of those guys that he don't fish all the time, but if they're fish hungry, he'll go off the dock and catch a fish. He's been doing that since the 70s. He said, Winston, the last couple of years, I just haven't caught hardly any fish off my dock. What's going on? I said, I don't know, you tell me. He said, well, I know they dredged a couple of years ago, but that shouldn't have that big effect on the dredging, because you dredge the channel out every now and then. But anyway, coming from someone living there, and I have my own theories on it. I really think this is so typical of Florida, of a bayou in Florida. What happens, all the development and all, it finally gets just filled. Every lot gets filled with houses, and every house has a yard, and every yard gets fertilized on it. and then you're next to the golf course, which gets a lot of stuff on it too. And I think it finally, if no one else is catching the fish there, here's my thinking on it. I think it finally reached its breaking point as far as just not being a really strong producing bay as far as catching fish, bayou in the bay. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to talk to some people about it that know more about it than I do as far as biologists know the water quality. But anyway, this is what I think is going on. Bay to bayou is just not as productive as it used to, and really, and it's just development. It's just people moving in, wanting to live on the water, and we all want to do that. And it finally it'll reach a breaking point. Okay, so I want to mention that. Also, I got everything covered. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Glad you're with us this morning. Let's look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outrigger at Port St. Joe. 11:20 to 1:20, smack dab in the middle of the day. 11:43 to 1:43. I'm sort of chuckling a little bit because I can't decide which is my favorite show to have a lot of video. Just sit here talking to you. Sitting here talking to you reminds me of my teaching days when I just taught to my class for a long time, and I flat out enjoy that. I hope I don't bore you. Hope I cover a lot of information in a timely manner and also an entertaining manner. But speaking of entertaining, we've got to look at this joke right here. This is funny. If you had to choose marriage or fishing, would you pick saltwater or freshwater? I'm sorry, that was just funny to me. Hope you appreciate that. Okay. Now I also want to mention the wahoo. I got a wahoo picture. Every trip we'll go out on, people catch wahoo. Okay. Here's one. Tyler Robinson, he's over at Pirates Cove, nice little wahoo to finish out a weekend. And for y'all that don't understand how we do this, and when you go out on these charter boats and all, you're going out, not full speed, but you're going out at a steady pace, and you just throw a big old plug out about that big. It sort of just bounces along the water, sometimes underwater, and almost every trip you go on, you'll catch a wahoo. And it's called high-speed trolling. So that's Tyler. We caught one too, wasn't quite this big, but that's a good one right there. So. One thing too, I really appreciate the feedback on we get every day. A lot of times when I get a long email like this, I try to sort of skim over it and put in my own words for the sake of brevity and time and all. And I just want to, I'm going to read this whole thing now because this comes from Barry Miller. Barry's a loyal watcher of the show. His wife taught school with me, known Barry a long time. His son was in my outdoor class. They're all grown now, but I want to read this to you because it's fascinating. It also sort of word to the wise if you go fishing in this particular area. He said, "Hey, Winston, as I messaged you last Sunday night, my son Josh, Cody Long, and I went floundering at Crooked Island, putting a boat in at Tyndall Air Force Base." So we're talking about a Davis Beach. I showed it every Friday. And you go over there now, it's not, no lights out there or anything. It's just an isolated area. And he'd asked me a couple of times about how the floundering was. I told him it's been picking up. So his son was in town, and his son's best friend, and two buddies wanted to go with the dad and all. So the conditions were terrible. Again, the conditions are terrible, but you go when you can. When your son's in town, you're going to take him. We had low tides and a strong wind, which kept us from floundering close to shore, where we like to fish. But as you've often said, you go when you can. We spent a good bit of the night jumping in the water to pull the boat off of the mud flats. We only got one flounder, and Cody got that one around 2 a.m. in the morning, but it was a nice one. And we've been there before, so the tide just ain't right, then you got to just pull the boat around, and it's aggravating, but still fun being out on the water with your family and friends. Okay, nonetheless, we had a great time, and I enjoyed the enthusiasm of these fine young men. When we got back to Callaway and was washing the boat off, I noticed my spare tire was missing from the boat trailer. Earlier the previous day, I had noticed the lock on it was rusted shut. So I beat it off with a hammer, but did not have a spare lock at the house. I was proud of myself for noticing it because if I had a flat, I wouldn't have been able to get the spare off. Well, all I'd really done was made it easier for thieves at the boat landing to unbolt it from the trailer. I told Josh and Cody, at least they didn't slash my other tires or bust out the windows on my truck or steal from it. I was telling a friend of mine about the theft, and he said a while back a friend of his was floundering at the same location and came back to the landing to find that someone had stolen his whole trailer. On another occasion, I was launching my boat there and saw one right there at daylight and saw a fellow out there in a truck. He had no boat. He just parked there and was just looking around the other trucks. I feel certain that he was just looking for something to steal. Please advise your readers, readers that the viewers, that the landing seems to be a popular place for thieves. Okay, so we're talking about Davis Beach right there at Crooked Island Sound. I know how you felt discussing the fishing not stolen, the fishing rod stolen from your truck on Friday's show. I don't understand the mentality of thieves like that either. They probably got $10 from pawn shop for a tire that cost me $120. My consolation is it only cost me money. The thieves can never buy back any integrity that they may have once had, Bear Miller. That is so true, but I've heard for many years that place is sort of unguarded, and the military, they don't go in there at nighttime most of the time. So there's several places throughout the Panhandle where the boat landing is just sort of isolated, and there's some lowlifes going to come out there. They're going to take the stuff out of your toolbox. They've actually busted out windows before. Most of the time, though, it's little things like the trailer tires or whatever hanging around. They just use that. So if you know what I'm talking about, it's Davis Beach over there at Crooked Island Sound. And talking about fishing and all, yellow flies. I got a lot of my viewers talking about yellow flies. This is the time of year, folks. Late May and June, this is yellow fly season. A couple of things about them. They don't bite too much out in the bright sun. And we spray all kind of stuff. I don't do sprays anymore. I just wear as much as clothes as I can, and I try to cover myself up. I just have this adamant feeling now about these chemicals we spray on ourselves. And everybody says, well, this one's safe or this one's safe. I just don't buy it. So I try to cover up. If you get up in the swamps and these shaded areas, they're going to carry away this time of year. So, fish in the sun, they're bad late in the afternoon, early in the morning. So a lot of times, the rest of the time, if you're in the sun and all, it's not that bad. Okay, so we're going to talk more about yellow flies. Only the female that bites you, but they're strong and they're not real smart either. They're hanging around if they bit you, so you try to get them, you can kill them real quick. All right, got to wrap it up. Had a great day today. Enjoyed bringing you to this show. You do something good for your fellow man. You have a good day, and always do something outdoors. And God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.